We earned over 7 million for our clients last year with ads. So kind of excited to crack open that can of worms and chat with you about strategy today.
Wow, that's huge. I am so excited to welcome Jenny to the show. Welcome, Jenny.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to chat today.
I am too. I'm super pumped to talk about all things Facebook ads. So if you don't mind, introduce yourself to the group.
Yeah, absolutely. Hi, I'm Jenny of Ads Uncorked, CEO here. We've been in business for the last 7 years, and I've been running Facebook and Instagram ads that whole time. Before that, I was actually a math teacher, big number nerd, data analyst, and decided to make a pivot into entrepreneurship right before my first kiddo was born. And since then, we've worked with a wide variety of clients from service-based businesses, but over the years have really just enjoyed really niching down to specifically those who sell physical products. So I live in Wisconsin with my two kiddos and a third on the way. And yeah, excited to share today everything that we've learned along the way. We earned over 7 million for our clients last year with ads. So kind of excited to crack open that can of worms and chat with you about strategy today.
Wow, that's huge. That's amazing.
Yeah.
It's so funny that you said that you took the leap when you said you're expecting your first child.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I feel like there's something about being pregnant that makes you you're already building something, but there's just something about being pregnant that makes you want to like build something else. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Totally.
I actually did the same thing both times I've had two babies and two pregnancies, and both times I filmed a business course, like a whole course while pregnant.
Yeah.
And it was like as the you got later into the course, it was like my nose grew a little more. You could just
Get a
see,
little fuller.
yeah, you could just see the progression because we just changed and it's like it's ever so slightly, but like in the videos you can watch like the intro video and like the graduation video, and it's like, oh yeah, she's pregnant, you know. And those are still somewhere. Anyways, it's so funny. Isn't that wild how pregnancy and motherhood, they just shift something for you?
Yeah, totally. And for me, it was a lot of realizing how much my life was going to change and how I really wanted my priorities to shift. And I was a teacher before, and it was, um, I give myself entirely to my business right now, but I'm also able to prioritize my family in a way I knew I couldn't in my last career. So it was kind of one of those, just, yeah, I guess, expecting allowed me to see a shift in perspective of what I wanted to prioritize in my life.
That makes so much sense. And I think that's why a lot of people explore or take that leap into the world of entrepreneurialism. You know, it's like, okay, I want to make my own schedule. I want to be my own boss. I want to have flexibility, which sometimes being an entrepreneur, it does add actually a little more work to our plates than we assumed. But once you get in the groove and you see success and you're able to scale, have systems, sales systems, delivery systems, you do get that freedom you want, and that's a beautiful thing. And congratulations on, your third is on the way. That's so beautiful.
Yeah.
I am so pumped to talk to you about Facebook ads. So I don't know if you know this, but my background is actually in marketing and advertising. Before I was at Horacio Printing, my company, I was in advertising in New York. I was on the marketing side, and then I jumped into the sales side and I sold ads
Yeah.
for 6 years. And so that was my thing. I was selling ads, I was slinging banner ads, I was selling native ads. And so I've always been a advertising nerd. I love that you were a math teacher. That makes so much sense because so much of advertising is math. It's
Right.
just, the CPM has to work, or the CPL or CPA is not going to work. I used to work at a company actually called named CPX, and their big thing was like, whatever your X is, like, we'll hit it, you know?
Uh-huh.
Anyways, so fun facts, good times. So a lot of my print school students have been wanting to jump into ads, and some of them have actually purchased your signature program, which I'm obsessed with, and we'll definitely talk about that. But I'm curious to know, when is someone ready to tackle the Facebook ads the Facebook ads. That's what my mom would call it, the Facebook. And just jump into that in terms of a strategy for sales. Like, how do you know when someone's ready or not?
Yeah, totally. So I have a couple different benchmarks that I look at before I recommend people run ads. And then we should also talk about too, like when should you DIY your ads versus even outsource them entirely? Because I feel like those are both, they're kind of interrelated. Um, so first, I love looking at conversion rate of people's website. So this is just the rate at which people are coming and deciding to purchase. I love for people to shoot for about a 2% conversion rate. You could be a little bit lower, 1.5. I've got some clients that were able to turn a really nice return for there, but honestly, as close to 2% as possible as you can get is phenomenal. And then the second piece that we look at is the average order value. So if you're selling something that's, $15 or a $20 product, that will be very difficult to turn a return on. Not impossible, but it'll be more difficult too. So anything we can do to get people to bundle and save, buy a couple products from you, increase that free shipping threshold. So maybe they have to buy 3 of your products or whatever it is. There are a lot of little like techniques and tweaks we can make to increase the conversion rate as well as that order value.
That's so smart. And if someone's watching this and they're like, how would I even know my conversion rate? For those of you in print school, I teach you how to set up your Shopify website. And Shopify is amazing. And that's really what Jenny kind of specializes in because it's the best.
It really is.
Hashtag not sponsored by Shopify. Hashtag would love to be sponsored by Shopify. Hit us up, both of us. Jenny and Polly, we're your girl. Come on, Shopify. But in Shopify, it's super easy to go into your reporting and analytics and see, it'll tell you by day, by week, how were you last year on your conversion rate versus this year? I was just looking at my conversion rate for launch day. Of course, I don't remember it because nothing stays in my head at all. But I'm definitely at over 2%. So that's good. I feel like I've hit that benchmark. For average order value, I was just talking about this on the podcast at the beginning of October about what was my average transactional value. What is that for me? And I always teach my students, you never want to sell something for less than $20. Let's figure out how to make your product so excellent that you're selling for $37 to $65 or some sort of kit. My business changed overnight whenever I was able to stop selling $37 planners and I started selling $85 kits. I don't sell $85 kits anymore, but let me say that third year when I did, boom, tripled revenue. It was amazing. And I did a lot of things to ask my customers what they wanted in the bundle, but it turns out they wanted the bundle. They wanted something extra. They wanted the notepads and the washi tape and the pins and the stickers. Like they wanted the accessories. And so bundling things together is a great way because that's going to help you make more profit as well, especially when you consider not just the cost of the Facebook ads, but the cost of packing, shipping, fulfillment, all of those things.
Right, right. And the most expensive part of this advertising process will be acquiring that new customer. So just like you said, if you can increase your order value from $30 up to $60, you'll be golden. I was auditing someone's ads this morning. I do like a weekly support call and I was auditing someone's ads and she was trying to figure out why her return a couple months ago, she was sitting at like a really nice 4 times return. She was very happy with that and it tanked. And we figured out exactly what it was. It was because her order value was cut in half. She was offering all new products at a lower price point and people, people were buying it, but it's just difficult to turn that profit if people are only buying $20 worth of products. So get it around that $50 mark. And if you're sitting here like, oh, my conversion rate's a little too low, my order value's a little low, there are a lot of things that you can do to change that around. And it sounds like you've got, a bunch of tips and tricks for people, but know that that's not a hard set line, but those are kind of like, those are the places that I start looking at when I determine if someone's ready.
That makes sense. And then you mentioned when are we DIYing versus when are we paying somebody? So where does that change?
Totally. So people who are around the $10,000-ish mark or below per month in sales, those are people that I really recommend trying to DIY. Now, this could also look like DIYing with the support of a consultant. Like you can still, get help from someone, but when I'm talking about paying an ads agency, paying your ad spend and putting money in your pocket, it's just going to be tough to do that and outsource it. So many people are eager. They're like, hey, I'm ready to go. I've got my product photos, my website, let me outsource. And it's like, well, you could do that, but I think it's just the most invaluable skill to understand how to do this yourself. And then typically when people are around that $10,000, $15,000 a month mark is where it becomes completely worth it to outsource it to an expert, because you're able to like get yourself to a certain amount, but then outsourcing it entirely, typically they can really have explosive growth from there.
That's incredible. So I'm sure you have a lot to speak on this. What would you say are some of the biggest mistakes people make with running Facebook ads, or maybe some of the, I don't know, let's call it delusions of like, oh, this is what it's going to do, right? It's just going to rain money or whatever. Like what are some of the big mistakes, misconceptions maybe that you see?
Yeah. So I get DMs most every week from people that are like, I tried ads and they didn't work and you seem great, but like I don't trust this process anymore. And the first thing I'll ask them is, did you by chance boost your post?
Yeah.
Most of the time, the answer is yeah, you click promote or boost. And I'm like, okay, so unfortunately, that isn't running an ad. They're different. And so when you boost a post, you've got really limited control over who you're targeting. You can't optimize anything. You don't know if like image one would have worked better than image two, or what if you had tried a video? You have nothing to compare it to. So that's the biggest mistake I see, is that boosting a post is literally going in the app and clicking, sure, take my $50 and let's hope we see some sales today, versus what we're talking about in this conversation is jumping inside a Facebook Ads Manager, setting it up, having a proper testing plan, and knowing, who you're going to be targeting, what the different ads are that you want to give a shot, and really being able to determine your return is what you can do through Ads Manager. Boosting, you're just kind of like flying with like you are just throwing some spaghetti at the wall and you are praying that it sticks, and it's just it's typically does not work out well. And Apple actually has an extra 30% fee now. I don't know if you knew that, but through boosting through the app, they'll charge you an extra 30%. I think they call it like an Apple service fee. So it was already
I feel
giving.
like it's a scam. It's just a big scam. Like the boosting, it's just, and if you're out there and you're feeling like boost shame because I have too. I'm pretty sure like my personal Facebook account is like I'm not even allowed to run ads anymore. It was shut down. I don't know. There was times when Facebook got nuts about shutting everyone's accounts down, but I've boosted too, so don't feel bad about it. It's so easy. They make it easy because they want you to spend the money, but it's just not the way to do it, period. I think you could probably even boost without having a pixel placed, which in that case, it's like, what are we tracking? We're not even able to track the success of it or have data of who's coming to your website. So say no to boosting. Do it the right way.
Boosting. Many people do it. Yeah. So don't feel like, oh my gosh, like, it's just so tempting. And all you have to do is like promote, and they're like, oh, you can reach 20,000 people, but you don't want to reach 20,000 people. You want to reach people who are going to buy.
Right.
So what you can do in Ads Manager. And then the second thing, this is also super common, people who DIY their ads and they tank, I'd say 9 out of 10 times, I see that they're running traffic ads. Running traffic ads, that is a strategy that you'll see many service providers teach. Run your traffic ad, then go ahead, get as many people, cheap clicks over to your website. I'll hear from people that are like, again, DMs, get a lot of DMs with these questions of people saying like, oh, I brought 10,000 people to my website and I only had 2 sales. What happened? And I'm like, did you boost or run a traffic ad? And they're like, I did run a traffic ad. That's what I thought I was supposed to do, because people teach, get the cheap clicks and then retarget to them. Just bring them back to your website. But really, we should be focusing on running ads with a purchase intent, because Meta is so smart. They'll do exactly what they ask them to do. So if we say, hey, I want cheap clicks, they'll get cheap clicks all day. But if you're like, hey, I'd like to get cheap clicks, but I want people who want to buy, they'll find those people. So that's really the big difference. Is there are many like ads gurus and courses out there that will say run the traffic ad, but know that you need an e-commerce specific ad strategy. You don't need the service-based business strategy, the coach, the course creator. That's a different strategy than what I recommend for all e-commerce brands.
And e-commerce, because it's such a lot of products, right, are $30, maybe to $80 in my world. And it's a more challenging space than trying to get someone to sign up for a free workshop. And let's say your cost per sale is $9.97, right? Like you have a lot more wiggle room with that. So like the expertise that you have being an e-commerce Facebook ad strategist specifically for Shopify, I've never met anyone that's doing this at the way you're doing it. And so it's super cool. You're super knowledgeable, and I totally agree with those mistakes. So I'm curious to know, when it comes to what is working in terms of ad funnels you're seeing specifically for e-commerce brands today?
Yeah, great question. So one big shift that I've seen over the last several months is that Meta, they've gotten so smart. It's gotten so much smarter than it was even last year or the year before. And there are things that I was doing last year that aren't working this year. And it's been a really interesting year to figure out like, okay, what is that shift? And the number one tip I can give to anybody watching or listening is to run an Advantage Plus sales campaign. I am loving these for my clients. I could probably talk for an hour about them. And so that's like kind of a conversation for a different day. But essentially, in these Advantage Plus sales campaigns, Meta will decide who to target and they will decide which ads will people respond best to. And you kind of like give it all control. Whereas before it was very manual. You were like, no, I'd like to go to Instagram stories only, or I'm going to go to feed. Now we kind of let Facebook have full control of who we're targeting. I tried this across all different niches in the Shopify space. And it's interesting to see that this campaign structure is working well. And what I see best, kind of to summarize, like, well, what is it exactly, is we give Meta many different types of ads. And I thought maybe I'd share with your listeners and viewers a handful of these ads that seem to be working well with the Advantage Plus sales campaigns. One I love doing is a review ad. So putting kind of testimonial on top of your product. I also love video, of course, but video specifically talking about the transformation that people will get from your planner or whatever product it is. Like, for example, how I shave 8 hours off my work week every single week, and a video just kind of walking through the ins and outs. People want to see it, feel it, understand what it's done for you, so they can see what it'll do for them. So a lot of those videos where people can see themselves in your product. I'm running a whole bunch of those for all of our clients in their Advantage Plus campaigns.
That's cool. I always love telling people, and I've been running Facebook ads now for my planner business since 2014. And
Awesome.
so I know there were ads that used to work really well, and then it's like, oh, well, that doesn't work anymore. But one of the things I think for physical products, specifically like journals, having hands in the product in the video, when it's like that thing that you can hold it, feel it, especially for women, the woman's gaze. We love to touch things. That's why we all got in trouble when we were little, going to stores. Your mom's like, quit touching everything. We want to touch. And so having a video where things are touched and opened and written in and that sort of thing. We do a lot of B-roll, and I teach my students to do a lot of B-roll to promote their product. And so that's really, really smart. I'll be honest, I've never tested the Advantage Plus. I've been so worried about my real ad looking weird in a different placement. And so I've kept everything really, really siloed, and just have been more on the minimal side of it, to be honest. But I have also been running a lot of service ads, and so doing different campaigns. So this is super interesting. I'm actually learning a lot. I want to test this out for myself.
Yeah, give it a shot. And here's what I'll say. The way that you've been doing it, it's not that it's not working. I'm just seeing this working as well, if not even better. So a number of my clients still have like the typical manual setup, just like what you're describing. So it's not like that's out and not working. It's just, this is kind of the new thing I'm excited about.
Yeah. I mean, with the rise of AI, it makes so much sense that this would be doing so well. Like they know what they're doing clearly.
Yeah.
I'm always getting ads of things I'm interested in. And as soon as I start hovering on something or looking at something or searching something. So that makes sense. So for everyone watching, we have a lot of people in print school who just launched their product. They're launching soon. I have a handful of students who they're on their second launch. So, and they're like, it's my second launch. I kind of want to run ads this time. What would you say is their first step to get started with Facebook ads? And like, what would be some of those first things to think about?
Yeah, totally. So first thing I'd recommend, I'm sure you would too, is you've got to get that pixel installed on your website. 100%. So if you're not familiar with the pixel, it's just a little snippet of code that goes on your site, and it allows your Facebook ads to talk to your Shopify store, and it relays that information. So you can see, oh, hey, today I spent $30. I made $100, and you can see that information. Without that, your ads are like, it's like driving with a blindfold on, and Meta doesn't know what it's doing, and it's trying to do its best for you. But if you don't have that set up, your ads won't be successful in the long run.
That makes sense. Beautiful. So tell us about your program. I am obsessed. I also just love the name of it because it's like, oh, that's a win. That's doable. So tell us
Yeah.
a little bit about your program and who it's for and what all they learn inside of it.
Yeah, totally. So my signature course is called Facebook Ads in a Weekend. Yes, designed to get you set up literally this weekend, or if you want to do it today, you can knock it out, sit down for a day or so, and really understand from the beginning all the way to the end, how do we build out ads specifically for Shopify stores? I also say e-commerce in general. If anybody here is, making their way over to Shopify, it's still worth it to consume the content, even if you're not on Shopify yet.
Mhm.
Basically, I will show you all of the latest Facebook ad, updates that are working well for my clients. So I'll show you how to get all of your campaigns set up, the ads you need. I'll give you AI prompts to help you generate ad copy and creative ideas, because sometimes it's even just difficult. It's like, okay, the tech is enough, but then to actually like design them, I'll give you prompts to help you come up with that. And I'd say the thing that my course students love most is I will show you how to know if your ads are working and what to do if they're not, because we definitely have kind of a checklist of, okay, if you're seeing this in your ads, here are one of the 3 problems that you're having, and can really point you back to really troubleshooting with, because learning the skill is something you'll never regret doing, but it does take time, and it takes time and an expert, I feel like, to point out to you what's working, why, and kind of figure out what those pivots are.
Perfect. And where do we go to sign up for that course?
Yeah, so if you head to adsuncorked.com, and up on the top, there is a link right there for my Facebook Ads in a Weekend course.
Perfect. We'll drop the link below this video as well. And then if someone is already at the 10 to 15K revenue per month in their business and they're like, I want a DFY done for you with Jenny. What's the process to that? Is there a wait list? How do people kind of apply for those positions?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can go ahead over to the contact form on my website, just fill out that form, and I'll get in touch with you immediately with kind of some questions just to learn more about your business, so I can gauge, is your business ready, or should we do maybe some consulting to help get you there? But yeah, fill out that form, and we'll be in touch. I do fill up typically here in Q4 every year. People kind of come out of the woodwork. So reach out ASAP if you're
Yeah.
interested.
They're like, Black Friday's
I
here.
know.
Ah, help
Yeah.
me, Jenny. Yeah, I imagine you're gonna get an email from me soon too. Um, but no, you have a baby on the way too. So you'll probably, I think, have a wait list, I'm assuming, of sorts, or you have a team that's
Oh yes. Yep. We've got a team here. Sorry, probably should have started with that, but yes, it's me. I've got a handful of ads managers that have been with me for a few years. So we've got a whole team here. Everything will continue running smoothly while I'm out.
amazing. Congratulations on all your success. And you mentioned previously that your company has generated over $7 million in sales.
Yeah, just last year alone. Yeah, we'll beat that this year for sure.
Do you have
Yeah.
any particular e-commerce stories to share on that, or we just keep it where it is, or?
Oh man, well, I'd say follow along on my Instagram stories, because I love sharing wins. How did we do it? Tips and tricks that are working. But yeah, I'd say I'm pleasantly surprised with how this fall has been going for our clients. I'd say this is the most successful fall we've seen yet. Clients seeing anywhere between a 4 and a 10 times return on their ads pretty consistently, which is great, because we're heading into the election, of course, the holiday season. It's kind of a tumultuous time, and I'm just thrilled that we're seeing. Yeah, I think we've generated almost $1 million so far this month alone. So it's been a really great fall. And Polly, I forgot to mention this, but if your people are at all interested, I've got a couple things for them to get them started. I do have a code that they can use on the course. They can just type in the word Polly, and they'll get 10% off the course if they're interested. And then second, if they are more like just looking to learn a little bit more about what this Facebook ads thing is about, I do have a free 5-minute tutorial for them. So can I give that to you to put in the show notes
Yes,
here?
it's already down. We got to drop
Okay,
in below.
wonderful. Good. Yeah. And it'll just get them set up in about 5 minutes with how to get up your first money-making ad. Really just understanding what are the buttons? What are we clicking on? How do I know that I'm doing this whole like purchase campaign that I was talking about? I'll show them how to get up and running with their first one.
That's so generous of you. Well, thank you so much, Jenny. This was absolutely incredible. I definitely learned a lot, and I'm super excited to dig back into Ads Manager. And hopefully, you guys are ready to go get your Facebook ad set up in a weekend. Sounds like a fun weekend plan. That's amazing. I love that it's a course that you can really dig in, get it done, and start generating some revenue. It's so easy in our space to just blame the economy, blame the climate. And there are pieces to that that are true. You know, people are right now we're in a trust recession for sure. Like you said, even in your DMs, you know, people are emailing, hey, this didn't work. Like, I don't trust, you know what I mean? Like we're just in a trust recession. And so that all that to say there is still fruit and there is still a harvest out there. And we have to continue to innovate, continue to learn, continue to be curious, continue to show ads to the right people to get visibility. And I think Facebook is an incredible way to do that because you have access to all of these eyeballs on Facebook and Instagram, which is amazing. And it's not just all the eyeballs. You want to find the right eyeballs, right? The person who's interested, who fits your demo, who has the problems that your product solves the solutions for. So thanks for having us on the show. We'll have all the links below. Thank you so much also for the code to give everyone 10% off. Again, the code is Polly, and her website is Ads Uncorked. We have all the links below. Be sure to hang out with Jenny. You can send her a DM on Instagram. What's your Instagram, Jenny?
At Ads Uncorked.
Sweet. All right. Thanks so much for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.